and welcome to the Adric cast, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Gregor, apparently.
And I'm Janey, apparently.
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 Join us this week for another review. Episode
Mm.
3 of Season 1 slash Series 14 slash Season 40.
Mm-hmm.
And for this week, they've managed to do something very special in the Doctor Who production team. They managed to perform the Dark Ritual. They painted the pentagrams, they sacrificed the goats, they performed the chants, and Steven Moffat has been returned to the overworld
Yes.
to write another episode.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Boom.
He's back. He's
He is
back with a
back.
boom. Every time I say boom, I end up saying it in his voice as well. I think
I
it's
I
almost
actually
like
thought
he's
I was
intentionally
I
done
was
it.
speaking to him for a minute then. Who are you?
And Steven
My
Moffat,
co-host Steven
hello.
Moffat. God.
Join us for a review of my episode. Boom.
Can we get through one of these without an impression?
No,
No, I do love them. I do love them.
thank you.
Um
But yes, we're gonna review Boom today. And it's gonna be a jam-packed
yes,
review.
we
There's
are.
loads to talk about with Boom, loads to dissect.
There's a lot to talk about. A
Before
lot.
there's a lot to talk about, but before we can talk about Boom, we do have to look at what else is going on in the Hooniverse. There's been
Mm.
stuff going on. First up, the ratings for the first two episodes and actually Boom have been released. Very
Mhm.
recently, they've released the consolidated figures for the first two as well, like just in the past couple of hours. Uh,
Oh.
Episode 1, Space Babies, its
Mm.
consolidated figure for the past 7 days is just over 4 million. So that includes the people who
Interesting.
watched it live
Mhm.
and the people who watched it on iPlayer for the past
Yeah.
week. Devil's Core got just under 4 million.
Oh, that's a shame.
Uh, so, I mean, it isn't the best viewing figures, to be honest. Like
No.
when the overnights came in and it was 2 mil, I thought, well, with the whole iPlayer thing,
Mm.
so like obviously the overnights were going to go down with that, and
Mm.
I wasn't surprised with the 7 day figures. I'm a little bought. I'm not totally like God. The show is dead because it
Oh.
still managed to get in the top 10 of the week.
Yeah. But it's
It is.
underwhelming, isn't it?
It's underwhelming. It's
It's
not
underwhelming.
devastating. It's just a bit underwhelming.
Yeah.
Disney Plus, they don't like to release their figures, so we will never really know, or not for a long time, we won't really know the numbers for Disney Plus. We do know that those two episodes of Doctor Who were in the top 5 most viewed programs on their launch day.
Oh, well,
And
that's
for Disney Plus, that
interesting.
is very good
That is very
because obviously there's
encouraging.
tons of stuff to watch on Disney Plus. Uh, so it's nice to know that for international audiences, it did manage to get. It was number
Mhm.
5, but it was in the top
Yeah.
5.
Well, you can't say
Uh,
fairer than that, really, can you?
you can't say fairer than that. For Boom, I think it's number 8, so in the top 10,
Oh.
which is still good considering how much is on there. It
Yeah.
looks like it's doing okay on Disney Plus. Uh, I think overall, it's not doing too bad.
No. It's
And
not
we'll
dead
see,
yet.
maybe some people are gonna be watching it just later in general. You know, not everyone watches things so close to their release. Sometimes people
Mm.
will get like they're like other shows I like, obviously Doctor just like my obsessed with it, obviously. I'm doing a fucking podcast, but
Mm.
I'm very keen to watch Doctor Who as soon as possible. But other shows I like,
Yeah.
sometimes it's a thing where I just need to get round to watching a new season. I've got other things going on, you know. So we'll
Yeah, I
see.
just sort of
I
watch
think it's
things
not doing
whenever I
bad.
remember to. It's not I don't rush to watch a lot of
Memory is a big
things.
thing as well.
Mm.
A lot of Doctor Who fans are incredibly forgetful.
Is that
You
is
know,
that the quote for this
it's a quote,
episode? A lot of
definitely.
Doctor Who fans are
Anyway,
incredibly
that's the
forgetful.
ratings. We're underwhelmed, but we're not
Mm.
We're not living in fear, quaking on
Yeah.
our boots.
Not speak for yourself.
Definitely not.
No,
And
no,
all
definitely
the
not.
people who are like, "This is clear evidence that Doctor Who is dead," can
Mm,
fucking put a sock in it, you know?
yeah, 100%.
Bugger off. Anyway, moving on.
Bugger off.
The next bit of news is not quite news because it's not there's not an official on this, but it's
Oh,
expanding on our predictions, our series predictions that we did in the last episode. If you haven't listened to the last episode, I recommend you do because
trying
it
to
gives
listen
it
to it.
gives us attention.
Yeah,
Trying.
the attention that we
But
crave.
there's a new theory that's taken hold of the fandom.
Mm,
Originally, Sutek was the big dog with who people were thinking
mm.
was gonna show up in the finale and be the big bad.
Are you about to
I
crush
don't
my
know if you're aware,
dreams?
Janie.
Oh,
I'm about to
no,
crush your
what?
dreams because
No,
Sutek has been kicked out and
no!
the trickster from Sarah Jane
Oh,
Adventures has
okay,
moved in.
yes. I have seen this
I'd be
on
surprised if you didn't because he was
Twitter.
literally everywhere on Twitter and
Yeah.
Discords and
Well,
Reddits.
I've got very bad memory, Gregor, as we've just established.
You
But
have.
no, I have seen this. I don't know
S
how much I believe it. I
Well,
know,
we'll look at why it's happened
mm,
because obviously, like, this didn't just happen. People just suddenly decided the trickster was back. Um, the key bit of evidence that has got people talking is music because
yes.
in The Devil's Chord, Ruby Sunday gets captured by the maestro
Mhm.
and she sings a little. I don't know if she sings it or if it just plays in the soundtrack, but a little bit of music plays, which is pretty
Ye
much identical to the music that played when the trickster appeared in Sarah
mm,
Jane Adventures. It was sort of like his little motif.
mm,
And because that music was playing in a bit where it just not just it wasn't just because it was playing, it was also playing in a bit where they were talking about the one who waits and all this stuff, which has got people just set on it's the trickster. There's other things as well that have contributed to this theory. It's not just the music. Obviously, the
mm,
memory TARDIS is back in the finale.
yes.
We've seen it in a trailer.
We have
We
seen it in
also know
trailer.
that from if you watch Tales of the TARDIS, the
Mm.
episode where Joe and Clyde are hanging out, Clyde picks up the trickster's box that
Oh
he sort of
god,
the
this is
trickster's little
gonna be
box
true,
thing.
isn't it? It's gonna be true.
Well, it's another bit of evidence. The fact that one of the trickster's items is in the memory TARDIS and the memory TARDIS is in
Mm,
the finale. The
yeah,
other thing is the trickster's part of the pantheon of discourse, I think.
of something,
And
yeah, one
the
of those
Doctor
ones.
says in a line in Devil's Chord about Maestro that they're a member of the pantheon. He doesn't say the pantheon of Discord, he just says the pantheon. But like how many
Mm.
pantheons are there in Doctor Who?
Well, I don't
Obviously, Maestro knows who the one who waits is.
yeah,
Uh, so if like this pantheon connection could be explain like why Maestro would know because Maestro was in the pantheon with the trickster. Also, the toy maker saying he didn't want to play games with the one who waits, and
mm,
the trickster obviously cheats. He's a he's a bastard. He cheats, and the toy maker doesn't like cheating. So
he's a
the toy maker wouldn't
bastard.
play with a trickster, would he? No.
No, oh god,
So that's basically everything that's everything that I'm aware of. That it could
mm,
be because also
yeah,
like not necessarily I think that points to it, but RTD Russell he's brought up the trickster in interviews a fair bit in the past couple of years.
mhm.
Uh, so obviously the trickster's been in his mind. We'll see. We'll see. The only thing I can say is I hope if they do bring the trickster back, that a certain someone doesn't financially benefit from the return of the trickster. A he who must not be named.
Oh. Oh, I didn't even realise that he was talking about, I think.
He might not
Interesting,
be. He might not be. He wrote the first
interesting.
story with the trickster, but it's possible that the
Mm,
trickster was a concept that was made.
Yes.
independently. Like Russell might have said, "I've
Mm.
come up with this monster. Can you put it in your thing?" So we don't know. We don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll just see. Is all I can say.
Oh,
Moving on again, putting the
I feel
trickster
so
away because
stressed.
but the
I
trickster,
just
he's not tricking you, Janie.
Gregor,
He's
I've got a whole page of why I think Sutek is coming back, and
it could still
now I
be
don't think he
Protect.
is. Well, we'll see.
It could be both. It could be the finale could be Sutek versus the
Oh,
trickster. Wouldn't that be awesome?
interesting. It would. I don't think it will happen, but it would.
If it was me running Doctor Who, you'd get your Sutek
Well,
versus the trickster finale.
move over, Russell.
Move over, Russell. Anyway, talking of moving over, we're going to move over to the next item of
Very
news.
good. Very good.
Thank you, thank you. This is good news.
Oh, nice.
Shutigatwa,
Mm.
cover of the Times magazine.
Yes.
Isn't that awesome?
It's so
I
awesome.
think he's the first Doctor to get on the Times magazine cover. I think. I could
Yeah.
be wrong,
I
but
well, I
it's still like we're talking about worrying about Doctor Who. Well, not
mm,
worrying, but being a bit underwhelmed by Doctor Who's reception.
mm.
Being on the cover of Times magazine is huge for the show, so that is something.
Yeah,
And
that's
obviously,
huge.
for that cover, he's looking as handsome as he ever is. You know, he's
Mm.
that man just can't not look good. He's just
He's
always
so
looking good.
pretty. Mm.
He's so pretty. I'm
He's
very
so
jealous
so
of
he's
him.
so pretty.
Very jealous of him. If I ever meet
Yeah.
Ncuti Gatwa, I'm not going to be like the regular Doctor Who fan
No.
and ask questions about Doctor Who. I'm like, how? How did you how did you get to look the way you do? You look so handsome. God's sake. Anyway, so that's a bit of good
Anyway,
news.
that is good news.
Finally,
Finally,
a
some
sort of
recognition.
revelation that isn't really a revelation. Well,
Oh.
it's not a new thing, but it's something that most Doctor Who fans have only just become aware of very
Mm.
recently. It's Pertwee's Burgers. Have you heard of
Oh
Pertwee's
god.
Burgers?
As of last night when I watched the commentary for Boom, I am aware of
That's how it
Pertwee's back.
came into being as well, and the fact that
Is
Russell and
it
Steven both
real?
just turned around and like,
Is
"What?"
it actually
It
real?
is real.
Okay,
There's
who
a picture
says?
of
The internet.
John Pertwee wearing a little, like, Thunderbirds hat, you know, those kinda hats that they used to wear for
Those
fast food stuff?
Thunderbird
I don't know what the
Thunderbirds hat.
hats were, but it's like the hats that Thunderbirds wore.
Yeah, no, I
And
know which ones you mean.
Walter Randall as well, who played a bunch of roles in Doctor Who,
Mm.
and they're, flipping burgers and stuff. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's it's
It is
crazy that one of the
crazy.
John Pertwee, of all the doctors, ran a burger restaurant.
Yeah. When was this?
"Hold
Was
on,
this
Brigadier, I just need to flip
after?
over this patty." This was after Doctor Who, this was about 1976. He did his burger, and I think it went through to
Interesting.
1980, so about 4 years. It wasn't around long,
No.
but it existed, and that's all
Well,
that
no one knew
matters
it
for us
existed, that's why
to
it didn't last long.
obviously obviously closed in 1980, it's not there anymore, but in its
Mm.
place is a kebab shop,
Oh,
which is
that's
still
so
open.
symbolic.
So you can go and buy a burger. It'll just be a really shit one from a kebab shop.
You can say you've
You can
had a Pertwee burger, but it won't be quite the same.
it won't be quite the same. And honestly, I don't think you could get any further from Third Doctor than a kebab shop.
No.
I could not picture him being in a kebab shop.
No, I don't think I could. I
I
mean,
think
I've never thought about it.
I'm going to lunch your box, please, my good chap. Fare jolly good. What would you like, Brigadier? Oh,
Oh
order,
god.
please. 5 rounds rapid.
Oh god.
That's that's enough of that. That was terrible impressions. I
Well,
felt
I
like I
didn't
had
wanna
to.
say. Oh god. Anyway.
Get a can of Fanta with it at the end as well.
Mhm.
Anyway, that
Mm.
on
Oh
that note, I
dear.
think we should end the news because
Mm.
I don't think it's gonna get any
Better than
better
that.
or worse, depending on your perspective, than that. Really, jump out in a kebab shop. On to Boom.
On to Boom.
What how do you feel overall about Boom?
Oh god, that question. Ugh.
It's just a simple answer, just how do you feel overall? You feel like you enjoyed it? Do you feel like,
Okay.
"Oh, shit?
Well,
What," you know?
overall, I would say it was a good episode. However,
However,
I don't wanna get the reputation of being, like, fussy and negative and critical and just
the fact that you've just said that
mm,
means you are gonna get that reputation now.
I'm very
People know.
self-aware, but
Hmm.
I just for me, it had what I like to call the wild blue yonder effect, which was where an episode is so hyped up and you have people be talking about it for years. And I watched it and I thought, it's
Russell
good.
says that every week.
But this week I was sort of expecting it to be true because it's Steven. And I ended up coming away thinking it
It's
was
Steven.
good. It's Steven. I ended up coming away thinking it was good, but I'm not gonna be talking about it for years, Russell. Do you know what I mean?
The only way I'll be talking about it for years is if we genuinely don't get anything better quality-wise for a very long time, which I hope
Okay.
isn't the case.
I hope it's not. Who
It was a
knows?
good episode. I think I will go as far as to say, for me, it's probably the strongest episodes of Russell T Davis's R2D2 so far.
Interesting.
I did enjoy
Okay.
Wobbly Yonder. I
Mm,
also enjoyed The Star Beast, which doesn't seem to be as
I
popular
loved it.
opinion. I
I
like Star
loved
Beast.
it.
I
I
think it's just
think
good
because I was
old-fashioned Doctor
waiting for
Who.
that one for so long, because it was already a
Your expectations were impossibly high, and it just couldn't live up to
once
them
I found
initially.
out about it. Well, to be fair, they were sort of met. Um,
Yeah.
not totally, because,
We're
we
not
all have
reviewing the
wild
Star I'm gonna have to
expectations.
stop you because we're gonna get into
Sorry. Well, just I
if you'd like Adric to review the Star Beast, then visit the official Adric Twitter and our bank accounts details will be there. You can pay us money and we'll do it.
Nice.
Well, I mean, just support the podcast and we might make more
Yeah,
episodes of Adric and
maybe.
possibly review that. And
Maybe,
also we
yeah.
need to review Time Lash at some point as well because we hate
Mm.
ourselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I think it's probably the strongest episode of this era so far. That doesn't mean
Mm.
it's
It's very strong.
exceptional.
It's very
I
strong.
just think for me personally, like, in terms of sitting and watching and enjoying with the
Mm.
Star Beast, I sat and enjoyed it, but I kinda knew what was coming because I read the comic. With this one, I was on the edge of my seat. Obviously, I know at the end of the
Away.
day, Doctor Who's gonna win because he
Mm.
always does.
Mm.
But I was like there was bits where I was like, "How is he gonna get out of this?"
Oh, yeah, no, I
You
did
know, and
feel
that's a good
that.
feeling.
When you're
It's a
watching
stressful feeling,
something
but it's a good feeling.
when
Mhm.
you're watching something and you sort of think it's getting to the end and you sort of have a look and you see how long's left, and you're like,
Yeah.
"There's only" that was this episode for me. I was like, "There's 5 minutes left. What is he gonna do
We
in
we
5
haven't
minutes?"
had an episode like that for a while, so I think
Mm,
just in the fact that it's a bit different, like, as well,
yeah.
it's a good kinda different, uh mhm.
Mm.
It was a proper edge of your seat drama, which hasn't happened in Doctor Who for a while, I don't think. Not to that level anyway.
No. It was very
I think,
dramatic.
like, the biggest bit that the one that I have to, like, highlight is when Ruby gets shot,
Mm,
and obviously we know the position the Doctor's in, he can't move. He can't even
mm.
change his, like, blood pressure levels or his adrenaline
He can't
levels.
even move
Seeing his
himself
pal
emotionally.
getting gunned down, and he's in that position with, God, do you think that is That's crazy that he has to put up with that. And also the bit where he gets shot as well a couple of
Yeah.
times, and
Mm,
he doesn't flinch, like, because he can't, because if he flinches, everyone
mm,
dies. So he just has to put up with it, he just Ncuti does it so well, where
yeah,
he has to play things in a very particular way to
yeah. He
properly
was
convey
brilliant in
exactly what's
this.
going on with the Doctor. He was so good.
He
This is
was
also, as
brilliant.
well as being, like, the best RTD2 story so far, Ncuti's best performance so far. Not to say his other ones aren't incredible, he's always incredible,
Mm,
but I think he's especially strong in this. This is his best performance so far as the
mm.
Doctor.
Yeah,
He
I'd
puts a
agree with
lot
that.
into this.
Mm,
Like, if someone came up to me and was like, "I'm not sure about Ncuti Gatwa, if he's a good actor or not. Can you show me something to prove how good an
mhm,
actor he is?" It's Boom. Yeah.
mm.
I could put on Barbie, but I don't think it would be as effective as Boom, you know?
Well, I don't know.
Well, he's not in it very much, so but hold on, Ncuti Gatwa's in that?
No.
Yeah.
A little bit,
Oh,
a
yeah.
little bit.
'Cause other people are watching Barbie and they're like, "Oh, yeah," and thinking about it the same way that everyone else is thinking about it.
Yeah, and then
And
there's
then there's
us.
just me, like, pointing in the corner like, "There's
There
Doctor.
he
There's
is.
Doctor.
Yeah,
There he is."
yeah.
We're 'Cause we're weird, us Serbians.
Well, speak for yourself.
But I'll speak for myself. But, yeah, that's a big point about how complex this particular the performance needed to
Mm,
be and how well Ncuti did it.
mm.
Ruby Sunday as well, Millie Gibson's still being good. Something I did notice is she feels very Clara-esque in this story. Obviously, just some of the Moffat
Yeah,
effect
yeah.
passing on. She's particularly sassy, and that bit when they're doing, like, the swap,
Mm,
like, where she's
mm.
giving the Doctor the flashlight and the Doctor puts his foot in the ground.
I wondered how long it would take for us to come to that.
I wondered how long it would come. That's what he says. So
Oh dear. Oh god.
that's enough. Putting a pin in that right away. But yeah, that scene, like, Ruby's overall, like, the way she talks to the Doctor and her overall attitude just feels very Clara.
Mm,
You could almost expect the da da da
yeah,
da
no, then
da da da
very
da da.
self-assured. Mm, what was
Very
that?
shut up, Doctor.
What
I know
was
what I'm
that?
doing. It was the Clara theme.
Uh-huh,
Uh huh.
uh-huh. Yeah,
Did you,
sure.
did it not come across very
No.
well? I'm gonna
Not
have to
well,
keep that
maybe
in
it
anyway
did.
because I'm
Yeah.
not I'm not substituting it with the actual theme. If it's
Ooh, I
going up
like
on
it, I like
Spotify, I just have to keep
it.
my rubbish version in.
I like it. No, I like
Uh,
it. I like it a lot.
eh. Anyway, yeah, that's just something I noted
Yeah.
with Millie
No, I'd agree
Gibson's
with that.
performance and Ruby's character. It's not
Mm.
strictly a bad thing. It does feel a little odd because it's still early days for her as well. Uh,
Right. Yeah.
and I mean, ultimately, she doesn't get a ton to do in this episode, which is kind
I
of
mean, she's dead for
understandable.
half of it, so
She's dead for
or
half of it. It's a
dying.
bit difficult to do anything when you're dead.
Yeah. To be fair, it's
Also,
hard
one of
to
the other
act when
reasons
you're
why
dead.
it's kind of understandable is hard. Well, it's actually dead acting is really difficult.
Mhm. It's dead
There's
easy.
a whole can of worm. Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, added a flawless sound effect just for
Thank
you.
you. Wait, wait,
uh,
can I do one of these? Hang on, hang on, hang on.
yes,
Hey.
well done.
Thank you. Ah, that was satisfying.
If only if you'd thought about that at the time and then it would properly fit.
I know, but it's fine, leave it
I
in,
could edit
leave it
it in so it's there at the
I
right
like
time, but
the
we're not gonna do that.
delay,
We're
I
gonna have
like
it
how
as is.
chaotic it is.
We're keeping the delay. Do you know what wasn't delayed? Quite the opposite, in
Like,
fact. Varada Sethu's introduction to Doctor Who. Came early.
Yeah, yeah. I was shocked. I was very
So was
shocked.
I.
I didn't realise she'd
It
taken
had
part in any
been
other than the next
it
series.
had been said somewhere that
Had it? See, I'm not in the loop.
she was gonna appear this year in this season, but
Mm,
I just took that immediately as she was gonna be in the finale.
yeah.
For some that's how I thought. I was not expecting her to be in this episode at all.
No.
I don't think anyone was. And it's a nice surprise. It's not the first time we've
Yeah.
had this kind of surprise, obviously, because we've had Jenna Coleman,
Mm.
do it before. People bring up Freema Agyeman, but she
Yeah,
wasn't
we've had a
announced as the new
lot.
companion and until after she'd appeared in
Yeah. Well, and
Army
the
of Ghosts, so I
difference,
don't count that
as
too
soon
much.
as I saw it, I thought we've had Jenna Coleman, that this one wasn't planned like Jenna's was. So how is that gonna fit together, do we think?
Apparently apparently well, not apparently,
Mm,
definitely, because it's on the Unleashed, Varada herself didn't know that she was gonna be the companion when she did this story. She
mm,
thought this was her Doctor experience,
yeah.
open and shut, that's it. Whether or not Russell knew,
Well, Russell
who knows? Who
said
knows what goes on
I
inside that man's mighty
well,
head?
quite. He did say
Quite.
on, I don't know whether it was Unleashed, it wasn't planned. He said she'd come in, she'd done her bit, and then later on, he had decided that she should come back. But whether or not that's entirely truthful, I
Whether or
don't.
not he's talking bollocks,
Yeah, he
we do
could
not
be.
know.
He could
The
be.
man loves bollocks, so
He
he could be talking
Gregor.
bollocks.
I
Yes.
don't feel like we should say that. We might have his
I could say
lawyers
that in a more
coming in
tasteful
for
manner, probably. I was very blunt with that particular.
He loves Bonnet.
He loves
Hmm.
a bit of the bollock. He loves his Rocky Mountain oysters. Shows
Oh my god, is that like a euphemism for them?
Rocky Mountain oysters are bollocks, Janie. They're bull bollocks. They're deep
I've never.
fried and eaten. They're
Is this
very
a
like
Scottish thing?
God no,
Oh,
God no. Us Scots, the bollocks comes out of the mouth. It doesn't go
because
in.
you will deep fat fry anything.
We'll deep fat fry ourselves. That's how we do funerals in Scotland.
Oh god. Oh god.
What a grim joke as well. God,
It's a very bleak episode, isn't it?
it's a very bleak episode, and it's just being reflected here in the podcast with jokes
Yeah.
about deep fat frying dead people. Oh
Nice.
dear.
Classy.
Mm, classy. I've
Classy.
forgotten. I've lost my train of thought. Thanks for Farida. Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it probably is that he just saw her performance and thought
mm,
she's really good. I want her as a companion,
yeah.
and he's probably written it to explain why either she's coming back as Monday Flynn or like a relative or something. There will probably be a in-universe
Well,
explanation. I don't think
I
she's just
would
gonna cut.
like
She's gonna do a Peter Purvis.
I would like to lay down a theory of mine that I've had since she was announced, and I feel
Very well.
like I feel like if what Russell's saying is right, and actually she'd done her stint and then he wanted her back, then this could be really, really good accidental foreshadowing. But I really liked the line where the doctor said you could get married to Ruby Sunday, you'd be Monday Sunday. Because as soon as I saw those press release photos of the three of them a month ago, a bit more than that, I thought, oh, that's nice. That's the doctor with his two lesbian partner companions. So I would like
That
them
could
to
happen
be
with
in love.
any female duo in Doctor Who, though.
But I would like them to be in love. I just immediately I saw them and I thought, "I really want them to be a couple."
Like, you watch Snake Dance and you say the exact same thing.
What, with Nissa and Tegan?
You'd be like, "Ah, that's the Doctor and his 2 lesbian friends."
Oh, but no, I'd still say that.
Oh, yes, exactly. I'm just trying to
100%.
think of other TARDIS teams that are like the Doctor and 2 female companions. We don't have that many.
Are there any more?
I mean, technically 7 Mel and Ace, but you've also got Blitzen for an episode.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
and
naughty.
I don't
I'm
well, they've
so
gotta keep
sorry.
warm somehow on
I'm
Ice World,
so
Janey, don't they?
sorry. I'm so s that was below
They've
me.
gotta keep warm somehow. It's a very
Oh
cold planet.
god. Lovely.
If you would like us to review Dragonfire, please visit the Adric Cast Twitter and honey, honey,
Oh
that'd
god.
probably be
We're
a nice,
making
easy
too
one to do because it's
promises, I
short.
think. Too many promises.
Anyway,
Anyway,
alien ambulances.
ambulances, alien planet,
Only Steven Moffat could completely take
all
a
that.
giant puff of his joint and be like, "Ambulances that kill people." That's what I'm talking about.
It's capitalism.
It is this capitalism at its finest. The ambulance kills people.
I loved the ambulances. Loved them.
Why?
Well, because and you know
They're
why.
giant rectangles with wheels, Janie.
Yes, but it's classic Doctor Who. L1
Oh, you mean
robot,
like
the
a good
mysterious
solid
planet.
deadly robot?
Classic. Oh, I loved it. Oh, it's
I
classic.
agree with you there. Do you
Yeah,
know what it
no, sorry,
reminds
it's
me of?
what?
The ambulance. It reminds me of the robot from Mysterious Planet at the start of
That's
like
what
the
I
Trial
just
of the
that's
Time
what
Lords.
I just said. Are you gonna
Did you?
mind it out? I just said it. You're gonna cut it out and pretend that you
Did I
made
talk
that
over
up.
you? Is that why?
Maybe.
So I'm a
Maybe.
terrible
You
person
usually
that's just in
do.
the podcast now.
No, you don't. You're
I
very good.
usually do.
You're very good.
I usually do.
But no,
Um,
very mysterious planet, very sort of made out of paper and glue, which is classic. I mean, it wasn't, it was very sturdy, but just really goofy. Loved it. Loved it.
very
I loved it.
sturdy.
Very, it was very
And also the
sturdy.
fact that it's got Susan Twist's face on the
Yes.
front of it as well.
Susan Twist, the
Very,
Two
very
Face.
Susan Twist heavy this episode.
Well, I mean, she was like the
I'd said in the
only
last
other five
one,
of them.
yeah, I'd said in the last podcast that I had a theory about the Doctor recognizing her
Yeah,
because in all the other appearances, the Doctor hadn't actually seen her face. This time, he gets a very good look at Susan Twist's face, and he doesn't say anything. So I'm assuming
to
that
be fair
that
though,
theory is bollocks
I
from my end.
don't know. I mean, another there's a little gripe that I wanted to talk about, which
Oh, right.
sort
That's
of
the next half an hour of podcast sorted.
sorry, strap yourselves in. Um, it sort of does come into this. My little gripe
Mhm.
is we had in the Devil's Cord, Ruby's been traveling with the Doctor for 6 months, apparently. Um,
Apparently.
Fine, I can get over that. But then we land, he runs off, steps on landmine, titles, she follows him. Oh, it's an ambulance. Oh, Ruby, it's your first alien planet. She's been traveling with him for
That is a point.
months.
I've got a
And he's just
theory
like,
as
we've
well.
never been to an alien planet before in 6 months. Where have you
I've got a
been?
theory on that. I've got an explanation.
Are you going to say it's to do with next week's episode?
No, not at
Oh,
all.
okay, good, because I hate that theory.
Space babies, when they all go out and
Mm,
have nice cup of tea with Carla and Cherry, they
yeah.
sit there for 6 months. That's why.
That damn tea. Maybe that's
That
what maybe.
Carla put something very
Maybe he was
special in
like
the
an
tea and it
exchange
slowed them down.
student. Oh, maybe that's what it was. But do you get what I mean? It's like 6 months, probably more
I get
now
what you
because we're
mean, and
another
if it
episode
doesn't
on.
get explained, I am assuming that there is gonna be something to explain this oddity.
I don't think there
If
will
it is
be.
just a big plot hole, then that my theory is that between Space Babies and the Devil's Cord, Ruby just wasn't traveling in the TARDIS very much, if at all, for whatever
Mm,
reason. That, like, in terms of our adventures, were very linear, but there was just this big gap, and she wasn't like maybe Carla was like, "Hold on, wait, before you can go in the TARDIS,
wait
I've
6
paid for you to go to
months.
bloody uni, you're gonna finish that, and then you can go." Can't lie, you know?
Yeah. Is she going to uni? Or have you just made that up as a
Um,
plot point?
I just made that up
Oh,
in my
okay.
head.
I thought we knew
Many
her for a
things
lifer.
happen that way.
I
Nah,
just
she plays the piano in a pub,
yeah, for
and
6
that's all
months.
she does. That's what she said
Do
for
you
6 months, play
do you
piano.
get what I mean, though? It was like, where have you been
Yeah,
then? It
it's
re as
it's
soon as
weird.
I heard it, I was like, "Oh,
My
no."
actual theory, like, well, I yeah, my actual explanation for it is that the Devil's Cord was probably gonna be later in the series originally, and they just pushed it forward, and they forgot to
Oh.
sort that out.
Do you
That's what
reckon?
my theory is,
Interesting.
because there is no point when they land in the 1960s that Ruby's like, "Oh my god, I've traveled back in time." Well, I suppose she did that in the dinosaurs one,
Mm.
or the
Yeah.
dinosaurs bit, but, like, she seems very familiar with the TARDIS in the Devil's Cord.
Mm.
Uh, so I think maybe it was gonna be further on in the series originally. They just pushed it
Yeah,
forward
maybe.
because they
That's a
wanted
good
a
point.
very Disney-ish episode of Doctor Who for the
Mm.
launch, probably. Anyhow, moving on
Yeah.
from that.
I so that was my gripe,
That
which
was
was
a
a
big
big
ramble.
gripe. I just yeah, well, it was a lot to talk
It's a
about.
big gripe.
It was a
It's a big
lot
gripe.
for me to get over, and I'm still not over it. But
Hmm.
where I was going with that is in 6 months, every single episode, Susan Twist has a totally different look. She's got, like, this hippie look in the church on Ruby Road. Space Baby, she's
Doesn't
in this
suit her, by the
space
way.
uniform. Oh.
Does suit her.
Oh, does. I thought you said doesn't. I was
No,
like,
no, no. The
"Alright,
hippie look
discussion,
doesn't
please."
suit her. The space look does suit her. Uh,
Then we had
yeah,
Dinner Lady,
does suit her.
and now we've got which I quite like this sort of medical, sort of Victory Curls sort of woman, nurse
Very suits her, yes.
woman. Very different looks. Very different looks. They've been travelling for over 6 months, and they've seen her 4 times. Well, Doctor didn't even see her in the first time, did he? Maybe he looked over, but it's sort of
I'm
like
gonna assume that
I wouldn't
the Doctor's gonna
recognise
see her
her.
again, yeah.
I wouldn't recognise
Yeah,
her. I'd be like, "Oh, there's another woman who just looks like a random lady."
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, that would explain it a
Yeah.
bit better, because if it was literally a
I mean,
week
they've been
between
travelling
them.
together for 4 years, so off screen, so, like, I wouldn't recognise
Have
her.
they?
Well, probably.
Well,
Probably.
Doctor must really
We
not
wouldn't
want to
know.
take her to an alien
One
planet.
day one day they're just gonna be like, "Whoa, how long have you been travelling with me?" 23 years. Like, it's just
Also
and we'll never
explain
talk
why you
about
got
it.
older. I thought it was a timing malfunction.
We will never talk about it. It'll just be like, "Whoa.
Whoa. Talking
Whoa."
of, like, things changing every episode,
Hmm.
how's the shooty fit for this one? How are you feeling on it?
You know what? I wasn't a big fan.
Nah. Yeah, I get it.
I just sort of, I really like that he wears something different every week because I love that, and I hate it when you would have doctors. I'm trying to think. Well, like Colin Baker, where it was like, oh, I change my trousers every now and then, or I'll change my waistcoat, but
I
like
mean,
I basically look the
he
same.
probably had to change his trousers quite a lot considering how season 22 was.
Sorry, what was what?
Never mind.
Is that a really niche quote? A really niche reference that I'm just not
No, not at all.
okay.
It was just a very childish joke.
Oh god, was it about him, like, shitting himself or something?
Yes.
Oh, how did I know? Anyway, do you know what I mean? I love that way changes so regularly because it's like a normal person. Like, who would stop laughing? I can hear you. You're laughing at your own joke. I know you are.
Yes. So someone has to laugh at it. So just making up for the lack of laughter.
Oh, I'm so sorry. If you want to do it again,
I'll just
I'll, mm,
no, no, leave
we're
it as
keeping
is.
this in. We are keeping this in.
Well,
Um,
what I can't keep in is the bits when we say we're keeping safe.
no, I love that. I like to feel like I'm in control. Um,
J
but yeah, no, I
okay.
wasn't really a fan of this outfit. Do you know what I thought? Because you have overanalyzed all of the trailers and the costumes and everything, and I haven't. So I
Uh-huh.
sort of thought this look with the velvet and the sort of cream trousers very similar to the sort of rogue look, the period look because he's wearing the velvet, very similar colors going on, and I thought maybe Rogue comes first and he's just like winding down from it. He's going for the same sort of color scheme, velvety,
They are
you know?
completely different outfits, Janie.
Right,
He's
okay.
wearing a white T-shirt in this. He wears a bleeding
No,
cravat.
oh no, I
Bro,
I know, I know they're not the same, but they're similar colors. You've got the velvet.
he's got purple on in this
Yeah.
episode. He's got Capaldi red in Rogue.
Oh, does he? I thought he was wearing purple in Rogue.
No, he's red. He's like Capaldi's red jacket,
Okay, well
that color.
then, in conclusion, I didn't love the costume.
In conclusion, Janie is blind, and when she watched the
That is
trailer, she
actually
didn't see a
true.
thing.
That is actually true. I
She's
basically am
blind,
blind.
basically.
I basically am
That's what
blind.
happens when you expose yourself to the vacuum of space, Janie.
Yeah.
You know.
Damn it.
Would you like to go through Shooty's costumes real quick to help
Yeah.
you?
I won't retain
We've
any of
only
this
actually got
information.
we've only
Right, I'm gonna
actually
write them
got
down. Space babies?
well, we don't need to include the ones that have already happened
Well,
because
I
you
do
know.
because I might rewatch the trailer.
All right, okay. Number one
Space
was
baby.
actually he had three outfits in Church and Ruby Roads. Number one
Oh,
was
yeah,
his
he did.
weird ass kilt thing,
Oh, I love the kilt.
which as a Scotsman, I'm fine with him wearing a kilt, but he really should have had a sporran on it. You know,
God,
didn't do well without a sporran.
look, no one
Uh,
thinks you're Scottish. Stop pushing this
Even if I wasn't,
character.
the point is still valid. It's
Okay,
like
well, maybe he's not
wearing
being a true Scotsman, and he doesn't need a sporran to keep
it's like
things
wearing
down.
a
But the thing
lederhosen without braces is basically what he did with
what? So it
the
fall down? What are you on about?
well, you can wear a lederhosen without braces and it won't fall down.
Are you just talking about like a cultural sort of you just wouldn't do it?
Yeah,
Okay,
basically.
okay.
It's a bit
Oh,
weird.
I
I
thought it
know
was very
Shooty's a very bold
functional.
man,
I
and
thought it
he's
was
done it
very
a couple times.
functional.
Well, it's also functional. You can keep all sorts in your sporran.
Oh no, I thought it
Uh,
was like to without being too rude. I thought it was in oh, I don't wanna say it now. I
Say it!
thought I always thought it was to weigh things down so that if you are a true Scotsman, if there was like a gust of wind or something, it would sort of protect your modesty.
Ah!
Do you know what I mean?
Ah!
So
Yes!
that the front you wouldn't be showing
Even
off
more
your
reason he should be wearing
mm,
his sporran.
and he was doing a lot of
It's supposed to be
spinning.
appropriate for children.
But maybe he wasn't being a true
Shooty, you're a very
Scotsman.
handsome man, but if the wind blows, make sure you show 'em.
Is that not what it's for though?
If the wind blows, it shows, yes.
Oh god.
I should add, every time I've worn a kilt, I haven't followed that rule.
Okay.
So don't not everyone does actually do it.
No. Well,
Because when you wear kilts, it's usually at, like, weddings
mm,
and things,
yeah.
and you're just like, "No, I'm not gonna go commando at a wedding." If especially if it is a windy location as well.
Well, that's why you wear your sporran, to keep things.
Well, the sporran actually doesn't I don't think it would help, to be
What's it not?
honest.
It's like a bag. It's like a leather bag, isn't it? So wouldn't
It's
it
not
like
made
there'd
from
be
well, some
some
of it's
weight to
leather.
it. There'd be some weight
Not
to it.
enough. If
Really?
the wind's got in your kilt, you're buggered, you know? Nothing's holding that back. And
Oh
also,
god.
that's not the only part of the kilt the part of you that might be exposed by a blowing kilt as well.
Oh no, but you're are we diving too far into this?
Yes, we
I
are.
want all of this kept in. I want it all kept in.
Yes, I think we should, even though we're like, "It's gonna be a quick episode. We're gonna do a fairly quick episode. We're gonna stick to the point."
I
It's
love
not
it.
that hard to stray away from boom. We're not
No.
talking about how kilts can potentially expose dicks and arses.
Gregor.
I did say, I've said this before. I've said this before. If when season 13, aka,
Yeah.
the Tom Baker
Oh, the
season,
real
Blu-ray,
season
if
13.
the real season 13, my bad, that one, if it ever gets
Yes,
released on
okay.
Blu-ray, which, well, it probably will, if they end up doing Terror of the Zygons for the
Oh
BFI screening,
god. You're
and if
going
I
in a
get
kilt?
tickets to go and see it, if that happens, I will go and attend in a kilt because I can. I mean, there's about 10 different
Mm.
ifs in that because it's not only about if they
Pants or
do it
no
and if
pants?
it's terror. Pants, obviously, it's a bleeding Doc 2 screening. There are kids there, Janie, for God's sake.
I just wanted to confirm.
That's probably why I brought it up as well, is just to say,
Don't
that there's not a lot of situations where you shouldn't have pants with a kilt.
mm.
There's maybe some, to be
Oh,
fair,
what are the what?
but not not in public.
Oh god.
Conclusion of the story is the Doctor probably wasn't Commando in the Church and Ruby Road.
No, probably not.
That's how this started. Because I was gonna, because
But who knows?
this started because I asked you what you thought of Shooty's outfit in Boom, and then you're like, "Well, I'm not really sure about the
Yes.
outfits overall." And I'm like, "Why don't we go through them?" And then the first outfit, we've talked about it for about 15 minutes.
This is really good content. What are you talking about?
I know, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I know the ones
Yeah,
in the
stick
Church
to
of
it though,
Ruby
because we
Road,
started. So that was the kilt. Second outfit
the
is,
classic, they've
his
released it, but we have not seen it, one.
that one
Dodge and
where he
Bubble.
wears it for about 20 seconds and he wears it
Mm,
with a Stetson.
Stetson, very cool. Inside hat,
I
very cool.
reckon that might be making a return
Yes, I've
in Dot and
seen
Bubble
this. Yes.
because they were filming something with it that wasn't Ruby Road.
Mm,
Uh, and we don't know what it is, and I'm like, well, I'm guessing it's probably Bubble because we
yeah,
haven't actually seen Dot and Bubble because we haven't actually seen them in that episode and
no.
trailers and nothing for whatever reason. That's my guess.
Mm.
Moving on, it's got his proper
Classic. His doctor
polo
one.
his polo shirt and, Grenson trainers, I think they are?
Ooh.
I was Googling it the other day because I was like, I wouldn't mind a pair of those trainers," and then they're
Mm.
like 220 quid. I'm like, "Oh,
Oh,
never
nice.
mind."
Well, moving on.
They were down to half price at one point, but I missed them because
Um,
I've actually got his polo shirt from that episode
oh, have you? Nice.
because it was only £16 off Madcap England. And it's the same make and everything, so I thought I could get this shirt for £16 and it's, like, the exact same shirt,
Mm,
and I have. And I've worn it just casually. I just
mm,
wear it sometimes, so there's that. Moving on to the other
mm.
outfits, Space Babies. the weird knitted stripy top thing. Keeps the
Yes.
jacket from Ruby Road for a little bit, but he takes it off specifically to piss me off, probably, because I wanted him to keep wearing it, and he was like,
Yeah.
"No, no
No,
lovely
no
long
more for
flowing
you.
jacket for this doctor. No more for you. You have to put up with my wonderful muscular arms. You have no
Yeah.
choice in the matter."
I think you are the only one complaining.
Someone has to. Then we get the Devil's Cord with the suit and the afro.
Yeah,
Nice.
lovely
That's a
suit.
very popular, very noticeable one that a lot of people have talked
Mm,
about.
mm,
Uh, mm,
mm,
mhm,
mm,
mm.
mhm,
Then we get this Boom
mhm.
one,
Yes,
which
the one that
is
is
a bit
nothing
naff, we
like
both
the
agree.
Rogue outfit. Nothing like
Nothing
it,
like the
by the
Rogue
way.
outfit.
Nothing like it,
The
apart from the
next
velvet.
outfit, apart from Velvet, the next outfit is one that we'll probably spend an entire hour talking about in the next episode,
Oh.
about how much I hate it.
Why? I love
It's
the
the
yellow fisherman's
duffel coat.
coat. Oh, I love it. I love it.
No,
Why?
no,
Too casual.
that with the with the red hat.
And the
He looks
stripy
like he
top.
belongs in a fucking burger, Janey.
Burger, what are you on about?
He's ketchup and mustard. You know, it just nah, it
He
doesn't
looks like
work
a
for
little
me.
fisherman, and I love it. I love he's by the
I know
sea.
he's by the sea, but
He's really cute, and I love it.
women don't wear duffel coats. Duffel coats of wool. Do you know what happens
But
when you get wool wet, Janey?
I don't because I don't live in Scotland, and we don't all live all
Oh, it's dry as fuck in England,
we
isn't it?
I just imagined that you would
What you
I
should
don't know
have
if
on
I
your
could
fucking
say this.
first signs. It's
You
dry.
might have
Welcome to England.
every
It's
Scottish
dry.
person after me, but I just thought, like, whenever I think of Scotland, I think of sort
Whenever you think of Scotland,
of
you think of
oldie
rain.
worldy.
Yes.
Well, just sort of like going out on their little chuggy boat, fishermen, not like all this, do you know what I mean? You don't let's I'm rambling. Let's go on.
Well, I would go on, but I need to nip to Tesco, so I'm just gonna quickly grab the boat and head down. Mm. We can have an entire discussion about
God,
Shooty's outfit next week when we talk about that episode.
we can. His lovely little fisherman's
Moving
outfit.
on, Dot and Bubble, where I think that the fluffy orange jumper and checkered brown coat will come into play again.
Mm,
That's what I think. We don't really know though. We're not certain what he's
no.
wearing in that outfit. In
Then
that
we've got
episode, sorry, what he's wearing in that
Rogue,
episode.
which is
Then we
nothing
got
like the
Rogue, where he
boob
wears a red
outfit. Red
velvet,
red velvet, not purple red velvet.
not purple.
Red I'm
See
just
when you
writing it
see when
down.
someone
Red.
offers you a quality street, you're like, "Oh, can I have the strawberry one?" Then you grab the purple one. You can't tell the difference.
Look, I haven't watched the trailer since, like, 3 weeks ago
Come on, Janie.
because I don't thought
You've been
Velvet
watching it
Velvet.
every waking minute.
But as we've established, I am blind, so
We've established
that's
that.
that
Anyway,
is
there's
the
Rogue,
card I'm gonna
where he's in
use.
that. He's also got those funny 17th century sock over trouser things, which
Talk
look
over
dumb.
trousers. It's
I'm
very girl in
very
the
I'm
fireplace, we'll leave it at that.
we'll leave it at that.
Leave
Then
it
we
at
got the
that.
finale where he's in his biker gear.
Mm.
It's not my
Oh.
favorite, but, whatever.
But can I ask you,
Is
while
what it
we're on
is.
the subject of costumes then, what is the
Mm,
biker one? Maybe it's at the beginning of an episode
yeah.
or something. You know the TARDIS and they're wearing, like, their tank tops, and Ruby's got her hair up and she's in, like, a khaki
Oh,
tank. Where is that?
damn!
Where is that?
I think that's the finale as well.
Mm.
I think you actually got a point there. That could be Dot and
I'm
Bubble.
very good.
That could be Dot
Well,
and Bubble. I see you. I was just having a go at you for not remembering the
thank
trailer, and
you.
then you're like,
Thank
"Hold on, what
you.
about this bit of the trailer
Hold
that I'd
on.
completely forgotten?"
Well, there we go. Well, then don't point and
That could
laugh
be
at
Dot
me,
and Bubble.
my memory.
We don't know for sure because the only footage of that costume we have is in the TARDIS, but
And I think it will just be a
Maybe.
short pre-titles thing anyway.
Maybe it will. God knows.
Maybe. Who
God
knows?
knows. We'll find out in the coming weeks.
Yes.
Anyway, we've just finished breaking down Shooty's outfits.
Which is the important
I
bit
don't
of
think
this
we have a lot
episode.
of room to talk about other things in this episode
Well,
because
I feel like
we've
we've
covered the
done
tension,
a
we've
bit of
covered
it, yeah.
Ruby getting blasted to fuck, we've
Mm.
covered the ambulance, we've covered Varada Sethu. Uh, we haven't covered the fleshlights, but I don't think we
Mhm.
should, quite frankly.
Well, I think everyone knows about the flashlights, so
Just once again, I think Steven took another huge puff of his joint, and he's just like, "Fleshlights that are made from actual flesh." That went into the episode as well.
God. Oh God.
Oh god,
Oh
indeed.
God. Well, we should
What
also
a
mention
strange
we've had
mind.
a little return of Villain Guard, which appeared in Stephen's first episode
You're
as well.
right. You're
Thank you. So I'm very
damn
good
r
at
you're damn
this.
well right.
I am so good at
He
podcasting.
recycles a couple of concepts from previous adventures.
Yeah,
I say
that's the way to
recycle,
put it.
it's not actually that bad because we've kinda covered this a little bit before, how I do like it when dots connect in the Hooniverse.
Mm.
You know, because it is one big world, one big
Yeah,
universe, so
it is.
the Doctor bump like, why shouldn't it be the Villain Guard?
Well, it's
You
like a
know?
little Easter egg, isn't it? It's like, for those of you who've been watching, here's a little treat.
'Cause he mentions it in The Empty Child,
Mhm.
turning the forge into a banana grove because bananas are good.
Bananas are good.
Uh, Also, the Doctor visits Villengard itself in Twice Upon a Time. Uh,
Does he?
just he does.
What
Where do
is
you
that
think
the
Rusty
planet?
is?
Is
Yeah,
that
that's where
planet?
Rusty is. That's
Bloody
Villengard
hell.
he's at.
I did not know that.
Obviously, long after it stopped being a weapons manufacturer, and probably after it was a banana grove,
Mm.
because I didn't see any bananas in that
Well,
episode.
or before it was a banana grave. Little
Or yeah, yeah,
in
in between.
betweeny bit.
I yeah, but that was the place. So we've seen
Well,
Villain
okay, well, I
Guards
did not know
before.
that.
And so I think because that was his last episode originally, so I think he was like, "I'm gonna include little tidbits," and
Mm.
include the Villain Guard in that. Uh, Also the clerics, the Anglican Marines, they come back.
I
They were in the
love
Town of Angels.
I love
Mhm.
how Russell is just obsessed with making religion like the military of the future. I love it.
Russell?
Um,
You
Stephen.
mean Steven? 'Cause I'm
They're basically the same person.
we forgot to mention how in the end of time, Russell actually bi-generated, and that's how Steven Moffat came into
Yeah,
being,
yeah.
sort of
Why are
separated.
you laughing? That's what I saw.
It was Steven Moffat was originally just a pseudonym he used to write the
Yeah,
Empty Child and Blink and
yeah.
stuff. The
Hmm,
man didn't actually
hmm.
come into being until 2010.
No, didn't exist. Did you see him before 2010? I didn't. Never. Um, do we have time for some little conspiracy sort of prediction?
We shouldn't, but we do.
But we do. Thank you. That's all I wanted. First off, before we get on to that, I did see that someone noticed. I did want to say that I'd noticed, but that wasn't entirely true. That at the end of Boom, the Doctor is scanned by one of the ambulances towards the end, and it's the same green scanny grid pattern that we see scanning the TARDIS in the finale in Unit HQ. So, Triad Technologies,
Oh, the
anyone?
ambulance is coming back.
Triad Technologies. Am I
Tricks
right?
the trickster controls the ambulance.
Oh god. Probably.
Probably.
It'll be something like that, won't it?
Oh my god, can the Twixter ca the
The
Twixter
the Twixter. Oh god.
"Behold, doctor, my Twix. One
Oh.
side is covered in chocolate, the other
Oh.
smothered."
Oh, that sounds horrible. That sounds horrid.
That wasn't the Trickster impression
Sounds
because
so
I can't do that
nasty.
voice. No one can. But well, the actor probably can, but
Yeah, one person
that was
can.
just that was just a
Mm.
little mess up with the tongue, the Twixter, sorry.
Mhm. Oh, please stop.
The Twixter.
Oh god, it sounds horrid. Anyway, I'm
Its
I'm
art
gonna move
nemesis
on.
is the Twirlster.
Oh god, very good, very good. Sorry, I didn't mean for that to sound so sarcastic.
It should
It
have
just
been,
sort of
it's
came
fine.
out. I'm so
Continue.
sorry.
Moving on
I'm
from
gonna
the
move
next
on I'm gonna move
next
on to my little
thing.
theory. My little,
Yeah, please
I'm
please
I'm
move on.
I'm gonna call it my, my Sutek section. Please do expect one in every episode. I'm just gonna say it from the
Sutek
off.
section.
My Sutek, Jamie
Hello and
Sutek
welcome to the Sutek section of
section.
death.
That was very good. Can you do that every week?
Yes, trusting that I don't drink a lot of water and my throat stays dry, I can do that every week.
Just have a smoke beforehand. Just have a few
Good idea.
ciggies. Yeah. So we have spoken before about who might be turning up at the end of the series and
It's
how
way too much.
I
Yes.
how I get used to it. How I am thinking that it's one particular person. But
Do you?
I think I've
Do you
been
think it's a
thinking
particular person?
it's gonna be like, imagine
Who
I'm
could it
gonna say
be?
all this, and it's gonna end up being like the mutants or something really niche, and I'm gonna be like, "Oh."
Mu
Gonna
the
be like, "Oh,
mutants?
well, just something niche, just something
Like the
really."
Mutts?
Yeah.
You think the Mutts are coming
No,
back at
I
the end of the
don't. No,
series?
that's not the quote. No, I don't, but I think it will be something that
They
we are
did
not
say it was
expecting.
set differently era, didn't they, the Mutts?
Well, I wanted to talk to you about that because is that right? Because I haven't seen that, and you told
What
me
if
that.
Russell what if Russell does terrible things?
Oh,
Like, what if he makes them too horny, like,
what? And
that
then gives them
he
all
Moffats
kilts
them? He gives them
without
all kilts,
sporrans.
and he calls them the Smutty Mutties or something.
Oh god, don't say it because it will come true. That's
Oh,
season
yeah.
4 finale done with, the smutty mats.
Smutty Mutts.
Well, I just wanted to say a new link that I have got to this particular character and to that quote that you've given me, which may or may not
Please
be
do.
true. Um, at the end of the Pyramids of Mars, Sutek almost escapes, and he
Oh, well,
tries to escape through a portal that takes him to what will later be Unit HQ. And you
I thought he
said,
tried to escape through a Windows screensaver.
well, that as well. He was very ahead of his time. But you said to me last week that there is something under Unit that will return. And I think that's the link. It's a different building, it's a different place, but I think there's a link there.
You think his portal ends up at Unit in
Well, maybe. Maybe something
well,
was
the
left in
house
that
where he was
house.
supposed to materialize was the site of the original Unit HQ.
Precisely.
Yeah, so yeah, maybe.
So maybe
Maybe.
something was left, like a sarcophagus or something, or the portal sarcophagus. and they took it with them
Yeah.
when they moved, and now it's in the new unit, and it's like, "Whoa, it's coming, look, oh no, it's
Whoa.
him."
Far out, dudes.
Do you know what I mean? Isn't that a good theory?
All theories are good, Janey.
Thank you. Yeah, that's
Apart
my
from
only
the
one for
Rory
this
Williams
week.
is the master theories, those were dumb as fuck. And you
Oh,
guys, I
I
know
had
who
one
you are,
more.
do you?
So Susan's coming back. We know this to be true. Susan Foreman.
Do we know?
Um,
Do we?
well, yeah, like, yeah, I think so.
You
I
feel
think
fairly
so.
confident about this
Well,
fact.
can I
Anyway,
just
continue.
say, how many times has the Doctor referred to himself being a father this series?
That
So many
that is
times.
interesting because the Doctor
So
doesn't usually refer to himself as being
no,
a
for like
father.
years.
Full
For
stop.
years we didn't hear it, and I think we've heard it every single episode of the 3
I
episodes
mean, the only time I've
of
really
this series.
sort of seen the Doctor as anything so near fatherly
Mm.
was when it was Paul McGann because he's a daddy, you know?
Oh, Gregor. Oh god. How
Sorry.
is that restraining order?
I think it's 73 yards I've got to keep away
Very good. Very good. But do you just keep getting
I
closer
was
and
actually
closer
saving that
menacingly?
joke for because I was like, "When we do 73 yards, I'm gonna make a Paul McGann restraining
Oh
order joke."
god. Oh god.
But now that can't happen because you've forced my hand early.
Well, sorry.
I should
But
add
yeah,
to
I
anyone
think
listening that Paul McGann doesn't have a restraining order on me. I have a picture
yes.
of me and him on my wall. He loves me.
Oh god.
We
Mm,
shared a scarf together.
oh, is that euphemism?
No, I wish it
Oh. Oh, Gregor.
Why don't we put Paul McGann to the side for
Well, I didn't
once?
bring him up.
No, I wish you brought me up.
Oh god.
We're closing that book until next week.
Until
Uh,
when it will be violently opened again.
violently. Because your final point there wasn't to do with Paul McGann, it was to do with um
Susan, because she's coming
Susan.
back. She is coming back. We've heard every single of the 3 episodes this series, he has mentioned
Yeah.
it every single episode. And we didn't hear it
Not
for
mentioned,
years.
but he's referred to it
Oh, no, he would
in
right,
some
okay.
way.
Space Babies, he was like, "I'm a dad." And then Devil's Cord, he said something about, "I'm over there with my granddaughter Susan." And then this
Yes, he does say
episode,
that.
he's like, "Dad to dad, father to father. I'm a dad." You know, like,
Daddy to
sorry.
daddy.
Oh,
Dilf to
Gregor.
dilf.
Oh, God. But do you know what I
I'm
mean?
straight, I should add that I'm not into guys
Only
personally,
Paul McGann.
but can I just add that that guy who was the hologram,
Mm.
absolute dilf.
What, the first one?
Just Vader, yeah,
Yeah,
him.
no, he was pretty.
He's just dilf.
Okay.
He's the dilf of the week.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, that's good to know. I feel like we've slightly lost it.
We have. We lost it a long time ago.
Oh, God. So yeah, Susan's back, Sutek's back. That's all I have to add to that little section.
And you're gonna say that again next week as well.
Well, yeah, no, because more stuff will come up, and I'll be like, "Oh, there we go. There's another one.
That
Put it in the
I don't know
bag."
much about the next episode, but I know there's a scene in, like, a cozy Welsh pub.
Mm,
Do you think Sutek's in the pub? Do you think he's sitting in the corner ominously?
I think so.
He's
Well, I think
definitely a Guinness
he's
drinker.
everywhere.
It's a dark
He is
drink, that's
everywhere.
what he drinks is Guinness.
Oh, a man
And
after my own heart.
if the head on the Guinness is slightly too small, then the bartender is gonna be dying horribly. Sutek will destroy his mind there and then.
Nice.
There's gonna like, no, he's got his own personal bartender actually who follows him to every pub, and he comes in and he says, "I am the true server of Sutek. He needs no other."
Oh god.
It's
Oh
Marcus Smart.
god.
He pours the pints for Sutek.
Oh god. Well, there we
I
go.
think that that has to be where we end this episode
Gotta
because
be. We've gotta end it somewhere.
we've got to end it somewhere, and I just think I've ran out of sanity.
Yeah, no, me too. About
I
an hour and
started
a
this
half
one
ago.
being like, we're gonna be really positive. We're gonna be talking about how good Boom is, and we're gonna analyze it
Mhm.
really well. We've spent most of this episode talking
Talking
about
about anything
completely
but.
different things.
Love your work,
Anything
Stephen,
but
but,
Boom.
you know.
To wrap it up, though, we do have to bring it back to Boom because Boom needs to get its rating. How many Adrics out
Oh
of 10
god. I
we can give
genuinely
it?
find this quite stressful.
Well, we have to do it. If we don't do it,
What did
we
we
stay
score
on
the
this
other
call forever.
2?
They were both 7 out of 10s. This isn't the 7 out of 10. I'm gonna say this out flat. We're not giving every episode of this series a 7 out of 10, that would be
No,
boring.
I would say it's a 6.
You'd say it's a 6?
Um,
No. I
no,
think
okay.
it's not a 10 out of 10. I
No.
think it's a 9 out of 10. It
Ooh.
entertained me thoroughly. I think there was a lot of work that was put into it, and it all came together very well. I think it's a 9 out of 10.
Um, do you think it's a 9 or an 8?
I I was happy to give it a 9 because, I mean, maybe we could push it down to 8 because Shooty's outfit isn't the best, and Fleshlights made it flesh, mate, okay.
Right.
Okay, an 8 out of 10. 8 Adrics out of 10 for Boom.
Are we being too stingy?
No.
Okay, well then let's
It's
go for an 8.
definitely better than the past 2 episodes.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, we'll go for an 8. I think we were too generous probably in our original scores for, like, space babies and things,
Well,
but
I
it's
did wanna
locked
go
in now, we have no
down.
choice.
It's
Hmm?
there, there's nothing we can do
You wanted
about
to
it.
go down with Devil's Cord.
Yeah.
I think we should have probably knocked down Space
It was the
Babies a peg.
last 5 minutes, the devil it should've I'm still
Well,
thinking
we
about
can
it,
do,
I
like,
hate
a
it.
retrospective of all
Mm.
the Adrix out of 10 we've given the episodes at the end of the season and
Yeah,
see
that's a
how
good
we
idea.
feel then.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do. But for now, Boom is 8 Adrix out of 10.
8 Adrix.
Well done, Steven Moffat, you've impressed me.
Yes, and me.
And you impressed Janey as well, so you
Yeah.
can sleep tonight. You've earned it.
With one eye open.
Maybe, yeah, maybe just with one eye open, just in case, I know it wasn't your fault about the outfit, but flashlight thing, come on.
Yeah, that was a choice.
That was a
It was
choice.
a choice.
Anyway, we're gonna wrap up this episode here.
Yes, and we will see you
If
next
you
week.
enjoyed Adricast, like it, follow it, subscribe to it, give it attention,
Yeah, please.
and share it as well, please, because we're a
Yeah.
small podcast. And you can join us next week for 73 Yards, where I might try and make that Paul McGann joke again, but I don't think it's going to work so well.
You've got
And
a
we'll
week to work on
complain.
your material.
I've got a week to work on my material, and we'll also sorry, I'll also complain about Shooty Gatwa's outfit while Janie tries to shamelessly defend it.
I love it.
So join us then for all of that. Yeah, we'll see you. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Boom, tap, tap, boom, tap.